Registration closes in 10 minutes. Registration closes in 10 minutes.
Red minivan, your alarm is going off.
Riders, the 200 start list has been posted at the bottom of the stairs on the notice board. 3 minutes and the track will close. 3 minutes of open track left. Chad, could you test both strips for us? Could you hit the back section and then onto the front for timing? Back first, please. Thank you, sir. Okay, we'll be starting our flying twos very shortly. Anyone not familiar with the way we run the flying twos here, we will be whipping across the microphone. We will have someone checking the order at about the cross mark of the track at the where the intersection of the warm-up circuit and the apron meet. We'll have someone there to hold you and actually get you moving. And keep an eye on the start list. We'll keep announcing that as soon as I'm told we're ready to go. Riders, we're about 2 minutes away from starting. Mike Tharp, you're going to be up first. John Tomlinson, Chris Freeman. Mike Tharp, 65. You will be up first. Okay, Mike, 65, Mike Tharp. 36, John Tomlinson. 136, Chris Freeman. Guys, we are ready to start. Mike, the track is yours. Roll on, sir.
2 to go. 2 to go.
Scratch on that one. Dakota Top will be up, our fourth rider. Mike Tharp on the track at the moment.
Back about 2 feet, Chris. Bell.
Isn't he getting Bell? Yeah.
Thank you. What? Yes. Now. Quick. Go ahead.
13.249.
Riders, please be aware, on our website, we do have Communique number 1, which explains if you sign up for a race, you are racing the entire race. If you sign up for A's, you do a 200, then you do all the A races. We had issues in the last race, and we had an incident. Is that clear?
That was Dakota Top there, just finishing her 2. Rider number 52, Annalise Oosterreich. Here's the bell as she comes round. We'll be timing her as soon as she hits the backstretch marker. That was Annalise in for her finish, and Miss Lily McLeod, visitor from the Tampa area, come all the way up to see us here in Atlanta, Georgia this weekend. Put a shout out to Nathan Rogert for putting a team together and bringing them all this way. And rider 154. Nathan, maybe we could put our number up the right way in a little bit, just so we can read it better. Melody McLeod starts her 200. And coming into the home stretch to hear the bell, Miss Ava Sykes, another visitor from the Florida area. And as Ava finishes her 200, the bell rings for Christina Pinella. And rider 26 on the track here in the bell. That's Molly Russell. And our rider here in the bell, Evelyn Todoro. And our rider coming around to hear the bell, Colin Telachi. Telachacha? It could be. And our rider coming through here in the bell, Afute. So Afate finishes his 200, and here in the bell, Marcel Maldonado. That is Marcel finished. And our rider here in the bell, it should be young Reese Latham. There's Reese coming in for his finish. And that's Logan McLean here in the bell as he comes round. Logan, you need to come down off the track.
Down now! See me at the back of the officials' tower now!
Logan, if you could come over to the officials' tower, the official needs to have a word. There's Mike Steigers coming in for his finish.
Thank you for handling it.
And it's rider 11 coming in for his flying 2 now. That's Christian DeCenzo. And here in the bell, Mr. Johnny Kufo. Keith Mullally coming in for his finish. And on the backstretch, rider 13, John Everest. John Everest in for his finish. And the backstretch is Frank Travieso. Stephen Hall here in the bell, rider 85. And here in the bell, Mr. Jesse Koistra, rider 128. And here in the bell, Mr. Chad Connolly, rider 32. And here in the bell, local rider Jorge Hernandez. Rider 49 hearing the bell, Andrew Hodges. Coming in to hear the bell, Rider 31, Mr. Nick Oosterreich. And coming through, Rider 1, 2, 3, Mr. Trey Hedgecock. And Rider 76, Nat Worcester. And finishing there was Mr. Kyle Knott. And next, coming into the home stretch to hear the bell, Daryl Christopher. 2 riders left in our 200 sprints, and then we'll be getting the formulas tabulated with the times. But our next race up will be our women's 5-lap scratch. There was Darryl coming home there. And on the home stretch, number 1, Kevin O'Donnell. And Kevin rounds it out. One more rider. Into the home stretch to hear the bell. Valentine Todoro. This is our last rider in the Flying Twos. A little bit of tabulation to do with the numbers. Give our referees a chance to get comfortable for our scratch racing. So we'll give it a couple of minutes at least, but women's 5 lap will be up first, and then we'll follow that with our wrap round for those not qualifying. Nick's just to your right.
All racers. The DLV uses pressure timing strips in order to get these times down to 1,000th. Therefore, if you are doing pro laps or possibly running over the timing strip, you could possibly take someone's time away from them. Please, if you come to the DLV and you're doing a 200, please get off the track as soon as you can. Get to the apron, get to the inside of the apron out of respect to your fellow riders.
200 times have been posted. The 200 times have been posted. Top 12 to advance straight into our round one. From rider 13 down, opportunity to get back in with our 5-lap sprint rep, which will be after the women's 5-lap scratch. Okay, let's time to get the racing underway. Women taking part in the 5-lap scratch. Women riders to the rail, please. Women to the rail. Our ladies are getting ready to roll out for their 5-lap scratch. 1 mile. One quick little race. Rep riders, you will be up next. Rep riders, you will be up next. Riders are going to take a full lap under neutral conditions. Nice tight bunch here as the ladies come round, out of corner 4 into the home stretch. There goes the whistle. They'll come round, they'll see 5 on the board. And Christine Pinella sets the pace as they come through for the first time. Lots of new riders out there this evening, so we got to remember, riders up, rubber down, let's keep it safe out there. And that goes the same for all of our races through the Masters, the BCs and the A's. Jesse, you'll need to wait until the race is over before you cross, just as a reminder. And rider 17 setting the pace there. Evelyn Todoro on the front in the yellow and black. Ava Sykes 194 tucked in second wheel. Dakota Top 141 third wheel. See if this changes as they come through. And our lap counter shows 3 to go. Warning to all our rep riders, 3 to go for these ladies. A lot of head shifting here, looking left and right, trying to psych out who's got the legs, who wants to take this race on. 5 laps, 1 mile. Quick, short, sharp event. And 1:14, Rebecca Martz. She's wanting to set the pace there. Looked like a little bit of a dummy run there. And as they come round through corner 4, they are going to hear the bell. This is 1 to go, and it's Dakota Top representing Levine Law on the front of this line, setting the pace. Evelyn tucked in tight behind, and I believe rider 52, that's Annalise Oosterreich, who steps on the pace here. Christine Pinella in the East Point kits, riding second wheel. It's coming down to the wire. Big sprint in for the line here. Christina versus Annalise. 194 is relegated for passing on the blue band. 194 relegated for passing on the blue band. Rep riders to the rail, please. This is choice. This is not compulsory. Rep riders, this is your choice to try and get back in. Rider 1 takes up position 13. Second across the line will take up position 14.
Riders, please come to the front. Full neutral.
Move it up, guys. Plenty of room out there. Plenty of room. This is our repechage from the sprint rounds. All these riders, times a little bit too slow to qualify. Top 12 qualify. We look for 2 more riders. First across the line will take up position 13. Second across the line will take up position 14 to go into our first round, 7 heats. Riding a full neutral lap, we like all riders within at least 1 bike length of each other. And this will be 5 laps. Five laps on the board, 1 mile. And Johnny Kufel, rider 91, sets the pace. Little Reese Lathan sitting second wheel. See how this shapes up. This has gone to a straight line. Johnny pulls up. Reese has chosen that's a wheel to stick on. And Colin takes on the pace. Riders at the front there not really wanting to take this on too much. It's Johnny Kufel back to the front. Reese Lathan sticking to that back wheel like glue. Stringing this out. Gap opening up between Reese Latham and John Everest, rider 13. John pulls up. Gap for Colin to try and close. Trey Hedgecock in about 4th wheel. Johnny Kufel takes another flyer off the front here and opens up a bit of a gap coming through to see 2 to go. 2 to go. Colin and Jesse, 2nd and 3rd wheel. Trey Hedgecock, Jorge and Keith Mullally in a group there with John Everest. 5, 6 riders together. Little gap opened up between those 6. Bell ringing. Bell ringing, group together. 2nd place up for grabs. Johnny Kufel seems to have locked himself in to the match sprints. Down the back stretch, Trey Hedgecock, Jorge Hernandez, Keith Mullally. I want to say that's Jesse Coister as well. It's all on for 2nd place. It's a tight one. Riders, just a reminder, when the events are in place, please do not cross the track. Okay, our two riders going through. Rider Johnny Kufel. And the second place handed to rider 123, Trey Hedgecock. Trey Hedgecock goes through in second place there. Johnny Kufel goes through in first place. Rider 91 and then rider 123. Our Masters 5-lap scratch will be up next. We're just waiting for our printer to give us the heat so we can post those on the board. And the first round of our match sprints is posted on the notice board. All those who qualified, our top 14 riders, 12 from the Flying 2 and first and second from the repechage. Heats are up. Scott, when you're ready, sir. Masters riders to the rail, please. Masters 5-lap scratch. Masters riders to the rail. Our Masters 5-lap scratch is underway. They have started. It's a small group. They are together, so we started them straight away. They will see 4 to go. And then we move to the first round of our sprint tournament. Heat number 1, rider 92 and rider 123. That should be Kyle Knott, Trey Hedgecock. Rider 90 and rider 91, Johnny Kufel and Daryl Christopher. Heat 3, 31 and 113, Nick Oosterreich and Samuel O'Brien. Heat 4, rider 1, rider 49, Kevin O'Donnell and Andrew Hodges. Heat 5, rider 35 and rider 11, Frank Travieso and Christian DeCenzo. Heat 6, rider 85 and rider 8 should be Valentine and Stephen Hall. And rounding it out, heat number 7, 15 and 32, which gives us Chad Conley and Howard Buckley. Back to our race in hand. 2 laps to go for our Masters. All 5 riders sitting tight together. Riders coming through here in the bell. Mike Tharp on the front there. Handing over second wheel to Chris. John Tomlinson in third wheel, keeping a steady line. Looks like Chris Freeman to Bob Tyler. A little bit of action heating up on the back stretch. Chris puts in a big challenge and takes it on the line. Looking for 2 holders, please. 2 holders, but I would advise all sprinters, if you can bring your own holder. Make sure you've got a holder, please. Seven heats to go through for our round 1, and then we'll be back to our B-C group for a 5-lap scratch. And then all the losers from round 1 will get another chance to get back in to quarterfinals with a sprint rep. Okay, heat 1 of round 1. Rider 92, Mr. Kyle Knott, riding for Levine Law out there. And rider 123, Trey Hedgecock. And from this distance, I can't read what it says on Trey's kit, so we'll do that later. Trey with some convulsive looking moves there. Not sure if it's really throwing too much of a dummy move there for Kyle. A little shimmy down the track. But hearing the bell, 1 to go. Heat 2, riders 90 and 91. Darryl Christopher and Johnny Kufel. Up next. Kyle Knott with the big attack on the backstretch. Trey with the counter. It's got about 3 bike lengths. Can't see a shadow. Kyle Knott to rider 92 advances. Trey will have an option later to rep it out again to try and get in the quarterfinals. Looking for Johnny Kufel and Darryl Christopher. Found Darryl? Johnny, we need you up, please. Riders, I do want to put a warning out there. We do need you ready. We want to get through the program nice and swiftly this evening. I have read out the heats. The heats are posted down below. Please, let's be prompt to get up to the start line. Next heat, rider 31, rider 113, Nick Oosterreich. And Samuel O'Brien. Sorry for the pause there. Nick and Samuel, you are up next. Heat 2 rolls away. Darryl Christopher leading. Rider number 90. Rider 91 dropping down towards the apron. Johnny Kufel. Coming around in corner 4, Johnny Kufel on the bottom of the track. Darryl right in the high line. The bell indicating clearly 1 to go. Johnny puts the pressure on. Darryl follows him down. Darryl remains seated. Let's see, backstretch. Darryl locked in tight to Johnny's back wheel here. Darryl starts his move. 91 relegation. 91 relegation. I reframe that. It's a warning to rider 91. Warning to rider 91. Darrell takes the heat, but a warning to rider 91. Heat 3 up next, Nick Oosterreich and Sam O'Brien. Heat 4 will be Kevin O'Donnell and Andrew Hodges. You guys up next. Okay, interesting move here. Sam O'Brien takes a flyer from the start. Nick closing the gap down. Both riders hearing the bell. Nick puts in the attack in corner number 3 as they come out of corner number 4 shoulder to shoulder. Nick puts himself through into the quarterfinals. Sam will get an opportunity to go through to our rep for the quarters. Okay, as heat number 4 lines it up. Kevin O'Donnell and Andrew Hodges. Kevin, rider number 1. Andrew, rider 49. Heat 5 will be up next. Frank Travieso, Christian DeCenzo. Up next. Andrew Hodges leading it down the home stretch, looking over his shoulder for Kevin. Kevin makes the dive in corner 1. Andrew's quick to respond. Little bit of a gap, couple of bikers lengths, that's all we've got. Both riders pushing to the max to get this out. Kevin just about hangs it on and takes himself through to the quarterfinals. Andrew can do battle again in the rep. Okay, looking for our next two riders. It should be up here. Looking for Frank Travieso, Christian DeCenzo. Scott is looking for you two guys here. We need you over on the start line, and you need holders. Okay, we're on heat number 5. Frank Travieso, top of the track. Christian DeCenzo lining up just underneath. Stephen Hall and Valentine Todaro will be heat number 6. And then rounding it out, Mr. Chad Conley and Howard Buckley. And Christian, rider number 11, leads it out. Still Christian leading as they come into the home stretch to hear the bell. 1 lap to go for these two riders. Christian on the front, keeping a very watchful eye over rider 35, Frank Travieso. Christian puts the kick in, Frank counters and pulls alongside. Shoulder to shoulder, corner 3. And still, shoulder to shoulder, corner 4. This is a home stretch sprint. Frank just eases across the line there for that one. Frank into the quarterfinals. Christian can head to the rep to see if he can get back in. Looking for Stephen Hall and Valentine. This is the penultimate heat in our round 1. And then B, C riders. B and C riders, you will be up next after our sprints for your 5-lap scratch. Our final heat after this one, heat 7, Howard Buckley and Chad Conley. Stephen Hall in the all black there leads down the backstretch. Valentine following, not giving much more than a bike length away as they come round corners 3 and 4. Hearing the bell down the home stretch. Steve Hall sets the pace. Valentine with the attack down the back stretch. Shoulder to shoulder attack. 3 and 4 still. Pretty close as they come down the home stretch. Stephen just sneaks it through. 85 Stephen Hall takes the win. And Valentine will get the option to do battle again if he wants to go forward into the rep. Last heat, heat 7. Howard Buckley and Chad Conley. B and C riders. B on the warm-up circuit. You will be up as soon as I'm given the command after this heat. Final heat of round 1. Fast start for these two. Chad Connolly brings it down the home stretch first. Howard Buckley sitting on that wheel tight, locked in behind. Howard makes the dive down out of corner number 2. But keeps himself high, putting Chad high up the track. Now Howard drops in. All the work for Chad Conley to do. All the work. Howard takes that one all the way to the line. Chad is going to be dicing it in the rep. B and C riders to the rail. 5 lap scratch. B and C riders to the rail. 5 lap scratch. Following this 5 lap scratch, we go back to our non-winners in this first sprint round. All the losers of the sprint round, you can rep for one more position in the quarterfinals. Rep ride will be up straight after this for those 7 who did not qualify in that first sprint round. Good sized group out there. Going to get a full neutral lap. Whistle sounds, racers setting the pace up. Attack straight from the gun, rider 113. Samuel O'Brien setting the pace there. Little Reese Lathan looking to take a nice draft off of that rider. Top pace here. Sam O'Brien on the front here. Reese Lathan sitting in second wheel. Lost the rider's numbers there in the colours. I know Marcel Maldonado in fourth wheel. But let's see it as they come down this home stretch. 2 laps to go. Attack from Colin Telechi over the top there. Takes the pace on. Colin opens up a gap there. He's got to hold the pace. Looks over his shoulder. Doesn't see anyone. Going to be coming in for the bell lap. Is it? There's the bell. One to go. One to go. Riders, hold your line. I repeat, hold your line as you follow through. Maintain your line. Hold your lane. Little Reese Latham puts the gas down, looking for second place here. A lot of hard work from Sam O'Brien. Is he blowing up a bit? Can he hold on? 4. Third place. It's going to be down for third. Colin takes the first. Reese for second. 127 looked like in for third there. That's Matt Capps. Riders, slow it down nice and carefully. And we need you off the track as quick as we can. Riders, slow it down as quick as you can. We need you off the track. We go for our rep round next.
127. 127. Riders to the boards.
Rep riders to the rail, please. Rep riders to the rail. Riders available for the rep. Trey Hedgecock, Johnny Kufau, Sam O'Brien, Andrew Hodges, Valentine, Chad, and Christian. And I will remind all riders, we need you off the apron and back on the warm-up circuit as quickly as possible. Every time you ride the whole lap round the apron, we are slowing ourselves down for our next start. Rep riders to the rail, please. This is your choice, but when Scott starts them off, that is it. Rep riders, last call. This repechage, 5 laps. The winner will advance back in to the quarterfinals. They will take on our lead rider from the first rounds, but it is a chance to get back in. 7 riders, 5 laps. A-riders, be ready, please. A-riders, be ready. Your 5-lap scratch is up next. Our riders become racers. The whistle sounds. 5 laps to go. One rider advances back in to the quarterfinals. And on the backstretch, our first leader, Trey Hedgecock, setting the pace here. Johnny Kufel sitting second wheel, and I believe that's Sam O'Brien, third wheel. Riders, I repeat, very important. Hold your lines. Ride straight, ride true. Two lines of riders. Johnny Kufel leads the high riders. Chad Conley sitting second wheel high. Trey Hedgecock to Sam O'Brien on the low side. 3 low, 4 high. Let's see which one of these two pursuit teams is going to take it to the line. All right, to see. 2 laps to go. Pace is there, but it's not high enough yet. A-Riders, you will be up next. A-Riders, 5 lap scratch. Up next. Christian DeCenzo goes through the middle. Straight and safe. Takes up the sprint lane and is holding it true. Johnny Kufel goes over the top of Christian. Chad Conley locked on Kufel. Valentine in the mix. 3 riders. Johnny Kufel, Chad Conley, Valentine Todoro make up our first 3. 1 goes through. Look like rider 91, Johnny Kufel, waiting for the referees to confirm. Result confirmed. Johnny Kufel takes it through to the quarterfinals. A-Riders to the rail, please. A-Riders to the rail. This is our A field, 5 lap scratch, a 1 mile race. Ladies, you'll be up after this 5 lap scratch. Ladies with your 10 lap scratch will be up next. Whistle goes. Riders become racers. And we want rider up, rubber down for this whole race. Nat Worcester takes a little flyer off the front there. John Everest looks across at him and says, forget it, it's way too early. Let's let him go out there and suffer by himself. Howard Buckley, rider 13, sits on the front there. You're testing my eyes. I'm just told it's rider 15. But it's still Howard Buckley. I've got the number wrong, but the rider right. So let's not go for the numeracy. Nat decides to sit on here. Not a huge chase down just yet. But it's Johnny Kufel on the front with Chad Conley, Kevin O'Donnell. I got some names here. Darrell Christopher and John Everest moved up. He was in the Bs last time. Good to see John advancing. Nat comes through to C3. Chad Conley sitting on the front with Kevin O'Donnell now. Looking at the riders over the top. Kevin O'Donnell now on the front with Darrell Christopher sitting behind him. And Nat coming in to see. 2 to go. 2 to go. Looking a little bit grimacing there. So encouragement coming from the crowd. Nat sitting on nearly half a lap, but Kevin O'Donnell on the front. Darrell Christopher sitting in second wheel. It's a chase down. It's a brave move. He's throwing the irons in the fire. Nat has 320 metres to hang on. 320 metres to go round this track, and he needs to kick it up a gear. Darrell Christopher on the front, dragging the whole lot back. It's a dear life. Hang on as he goes through corner 3 and corner 4. He's looking back. It's a big move as they're closing in on him. Nat takes a win with this one. Steve Hall, if I will get it right, comes in for second. Nat's thinking it's about time we got something. Big finish there from the boys. I want to say Frank Travieso was in there. Nick Oosterreich was in there at the finish. And we hand the track over to our ladies. We're going to double it up from 5. We're going to put 10 on the board. 2 miles. 2 whole miles to ride. Quarterfinals have been posted. Quarterfinals have been posted on the notice board. Ladies are racing. Off the gun we go. And I want to say is that looks like Lily McLeod there. 183. Let me double check. Rider 103, double check there. Lily McLeod leading the way here. Christine Panella, rider 33, closes that gap back down. Annalise Oosterreich following Christine. Quarterfinals, heat number 1, Kyle Knott, Johnny Kufal. Heat number 2, Daryl Christopher, Howard Buckley. Heat number 3, Nick Oosterreich and Stephen Hall. Heat number 4, rounding it out, Kevin O'Donnell and Frank Travieso. That's our 4 heats. They are posted. And heat 1, Kyle and Johnny, you are up next after our ladies finish their 10-lap scratch. Pace kicks up there. Look like Ava Sykes on the front there. Christine still sitting in second wheel. Dakota Top third wheel. And Annalise Oosterreich in fourth place there. And now it's Christine drags us down the home stretch on the front. Dakota Top sitting second wheel. Double check it as the riders come through here. And keeping the race moving but high, Rebecca Martz. So the ladies form a pretty nice pace line there. And it's Molly Russell on the front of that. Looks like she wanted to pull off there by riding high, but the field follow her up the track. So Molly still setting the pace on the front there. Dakota Top and Annalise making the first 3 riders. And a beautiful attack there. Ava Sykes sets the pace down. The riders so high up the track. It opens up the bottom half of the track. And yes, take advantage of it right through. Ava Sykes on the front, shaking this little group up there. Attack over the top. I want to say this is Melody, but I'm guessing a little bit. That is Melody, 154. Dakota Top, second wheel. Annalise, third wheel. And Evelyn Todaro in fourth wheel. Counter attack here from Dakota. Bell lap, 1 to go. Annalise takes over the pace. Evelyn sitting tight on Annalise's wheel. Christine sitting in third wheel here. Down the back stretch, this lines it out. Annalise with the pacemaking through corner 3. Evelyn with the challenge coming out of corner 4. It's going to be down to the line. I am going to wait for the officials to tell me the order there. Very, very tight on the line. We'll look for our ladies to leave the track as quickly and promptly as we can, and we'll be looking for heat number 1, Kyle Knott and Johnny Kufau. Riders, you will need a holder. Ladies, we need you off the apron and back on the infield as quick as we can. And sprint riders, remember, you still need a holder. Daryl and Howard, you are up next. Nick and Stephen, follow that through. Round it out, Kevin and Frank. And after these sprint qualifiers, we go back to our Masters 10-lap scratch. Be quick if you're going to cross the track. Anyone, be quick. We have not started yet. What do you need? I don't know where I'm getting this light from, but I've got more light here. I think it's that floodlight. Okay, I got the result now for our women's race. Annalise, by the thickness of a tyre, took that off of Evelyn. And let's see how this match sprint, quarterfinal number 1. Kyle Knott leads it through off the saddle. Johnny Kufau following in down through corners 1 and 2. Johnny with a launch out of corner 2. Kyle with a big counter attack down the back stretch. Johnny's had to fall in into corner 3 and 4. It's going to be another attack if he's going to launch it down the back home stretch. It's close, but it's not close enough. Kyle takes that one. Johnny will be the first qualifier through 5 to 8. Heat number 2. Daryl Christopher, Howard Buckley. Okay, heat number 2 underway. Rider leading, number 90, Darryl Christopher. Riding slightly higher up the track, rider 15. I got the number right. I know it's Howard out there. Seen some top match sprinting out of Howard this year. I had the pleasure of being at Masters Track Nationals commentating, and really held his own out there at Masters Track Nationals. Darryl's going to have his hands full here with what Howard's going to be doing. Bell ringing with 1 to go. No movement from either rider yet. A little bit of friendly jostling going on between these two East Point. Lost for the word there. I was going to say colleagues, but these guys are doing battle against each other. There's no friendship in track racing. Darryl puts the attack in. Howard counters. It's going to have to be a big counter to get past, let alone get back up with double barrel Darryl as he comes flying through corners 3 and 4. Darryl saw his move. Darryl took it. Darryl into the semis. Howard will go 5 through 8 to still try and duke it out. Heat 3, looking for Nick Oosterreich and Stephen Hall. Nick's down here, looking for Mr. Stephen Hall. And rounded out, heat number 4 will be Kevin O'Donnell, Frank Travieso. And then we're back to our Masters. Give everybody a reminder, our Masters will be up after the final heat. This is heat 3, heat 4 still to go. It will be Masters, then our sprint semi-finals, then we go to our B-C group for the 10-lap scratch. Sprint 5 through 8, our A riders with the 10-lap scratch, and then our sprint finals round us out. And heat number 3, Stephen Hall leads it with the black kit, yellow flashes on there. The lower rider on the track, Nick Oosterreich in the black and red, riding high. Both riders together now. Still Stephen low side, Nick high side. Both riders coming through, hearing the bell. Big challenge here. Stephen on the inside line. Nick the higher line. It's going to be down to the wire as they push that power down. Nick takes that one. It was close. Stephen will put himself in the 5 through 8 final. Nick will put himself in the semi-finals. Heat number 4. Final heat of these quarterfinals. Rider number 1, Kevin O'Donnell. Rider number 35, Frank Travieso. This is our final heat. Rider number 1, Kevin O'Donnell leads it. Frank Travieso, 2 bike lengths back, keeping a very watchful eye. Frank closes in that gap and puts the attack in. Is it full blown? We'll see as they come down the home stretch. Riders here in the bell. Frank Travieso leads this one into corner number 1. Kevin starting to close that gap down as Frank got a second kick here. The gap's gone. Kevin's looking to come alongside as they come into the home stretch, and it's going to be side by side. Boom, it's down to a bike throw. The call is Kevin O'Donnell with the bike throw there. Kevin takes himself in to the semi-finals. Frank will rep it out again. 5 through 8 final. Powerful racing there from our quarterfinals. And we're going to hand the track back over to our masters next, master riders, for a 10-lap scratch. Then we'll be jumping back to our sprint semis. Master riders to the rail, please. Masters to the rail. Master riders to the rail, please. Final call for our masters. Otherwise, we'll get that moving. Sprint semis just about to get that printed, and we'll have that down on the board. So our Masters scratch race, they've started already. Riders, you know you've qualified for the semi-finals, so be ready. We're about to print those now and have those posted. So as soon as they're printed, I will announce the 2 semi-finals. But our Masters are coming in to see. 4 to go. 4 to go. Two semi-finals, and then we'll move to our B and C 10-lap scratch. Front now. Okay, our 4 master riders here staying together, seeing 2 to go. Chris and Michael on the front there. Chris the low line. Michael now sitting second wheel. We got Chris to Michael to Chris, rounding out with Bob Tyler 4th wheel. That's Mike Tharp there, setting the pace a little bit harder with Chris Freeman following him. Chris Annunziata sits up a little bit there. Bob Tyler looking to close that gap back to join the other 3. The bell ringing, 1 to go. And then we move to our 2 semi-finals. Kyle Nutt, Kevin O'Donnell. You will be up. First, Daryl Christopher, Nick Oosterreich. Semi-final number 2. Do you like that Americanism there? Semi-final? We'd say semi-final in England, especially if we were at Wimbledon. Bit of tennis. We're at the US Open at the moment. Anyone watching that? It's been pretty good so far. Can't remember what I watched today. We were supposed to be driving a car, but I was watching the US Open. We give our masters a chance to leave the track. Looking for our first semi-final, Kyle Nutt, Kevin O'Donnell. Let's have you over with our referee, Mr. Scott Patton. And then, Daryl Christopher, Nick Oosterreich, semi-final number 2. Winners to the final, losers to the bronze and 4th position for 3rd and 4th. Two semi-finals, and then our BC group will be up for a 10-lap scratch. Our eyes can go across to the backstretch. Kyle Nutt setting the pace here. Kyle now on the high side, corner 3. Kevin keeping him at bay, or trying to. Bell rings, they only have 1 lap to go. Riders keeping that pace. Very similar. Shoulder to shoulder here. Kyle puts the kick in. He's got to get well past Kevin so before he drops in. He is well clear. Kyle drops it in. Kevin looks for the counter, but it doesn't seem to be coming. Kyle puts himself into the final. And let's look for our second semi-final. Daryl Christopher, Nick Oosterreich. Let's have you over with the referee, please. Powerful riding here in these match sprints, getting faster and faster. This second of our semi-finals up next. BC riders, 10-lap scratch. These guys only have 2 laps to complete. So B and C riders, please be ready We'll be calling you to the rail pretty quickly once these two are finished. Darryl, top of the track. Nick, slightly lower. Okay, Nick leads it out. Darryl to follow. Interesting little piece of info here. In their actual flying twos, they were tied on the electronic timing. Not ever happened here before on the electronic timing system, but to the thousandths of a second, they were the same time. Nick leads it. Darryl follows. Nick puts the kick in. Darryl sits tight on that wheel. Nick drives it down the back stretch. Darryl locks in and now puts the challenge in corner 3. It's out of corner 4 and the challenge is going to come again from Darryl. And it looked like Nick held on there. Nick takes himself through into the final. Darryl will take a header against Kevin O'Donnell for the 3-4 position. Give these two riders a chance to safely leave the track as quick as they can. They know what they're doing. And I'll call B and C riders to the rail, please. B and C riders to the rail, 10 lap scratch. B and C riders to the rail. Ten laps for our B and C riders, and then our 5 through 8 match sprint position round will take place. Johnny Kufel, Howard Buckley, Stephen Hall and Frank Trevieso. BC group rolls out. They're going to be doing a full neutral lap. So as they come out of corner 4, they'll be listening for the whistle. As long as all the riders are within about a bike length of each other, our starter will blow the whistle and get them underway. Riders, you can pick the pace up a little bit. So no need to sort of follow the snails around the track. We can make that a brisk pace as long as we are staying together and no breakaways. We can pick that up even a little bit more. Not looking for any big gaps here. We're listening now for our starter. Riders, you become racers. 10 laps to go. 2 complete miles. This is a standard track. It is measured to 5 laps to the mile. Clayton Zenert from the Orlando area takes a flyer off the front. If I've got the number right, looks like Sam O'Brien. Tagging him, second wheel. Sam goes past. Clayton needs to lock in there. Riders, keep your line. Nice straight lines. Keep it safe out there. Smooth movements make safe riding. Sharp, quick, jerky movements. We don't even want to see. We don't even want to know what they do. Sam O'Brien, 1-1-3 on the front. Clayton Zenert sitting second wheel. And I want to say that's Afate in third wheel. Afote. We get this pronunciation. Sam O'Brien starts to open up a little bit of a gap here. Has he got the legs to hold this all the way? Showing 7. Sam opens up a bit more of a gap, but in the blue and white, Marcel Maldonado not happy with the size of that gap, leads 3 riders. Little Reese Lathan sitting in the middle, and I want to say that's Colin, now second wheel. Riders grouping it back together, Sam to Colin, to Reese, to Marcel. Well, no one wants to take up the pace. Still pushing Sam on the front there. He continues to sit there relentlessly. And he certainly saved me looking at my data sheet. Sam still sits on the front. Colin, little Reese tucked in tight. Marcel, rider 45, sitting in fourth wheel. Couple of riders popped off the back there. Same order, no change as they come round. 3 to go. 3 laps to go. It's not, but it's roughly a kilometre. 3 laps on here. And the first 5 riders stay in the same order. How many matches has Sam got left to burn on the front? He's making all the pace here. Attack comes in from Colin in second wheel. Reese locks into that. Marcel wants a piece of the action. Third wheel. I want to say that's Logan. Fourth wheel. Swings high out of corner 4. The bell goes. Colin on the gas. He's not losing little Reese and he's not losing Marcel. Logan with a challenge in these final stages. It's down to the line. Reese Latham, 61, takes that one. Colin gets in there second. I want to say Marcel, 45, was third. And a super little bike throw there and challenge from Reese to take that one. Great attack from Colin. But it shows the experience growing in Reese Every time I come here, I see that young man improve tenfold. Up next will be our sprint 5 through 8 positioning final. Johnny Kufel, Howard Buckley, Stephen Hall, Frank Travieso. Five through 8. Again, the call. Johnny, Howard, Stephen, Frank, to the rail, please. I have Howard, I have Stephen.
BC riders, folks from out of town. The DLV is a city-created velodrome. The lines here aren't exactly perfect. There's also a lot of material in between where the track and the apron come together. Different types of material, different textures, and the shaping of the track isn't right. Please stay above the black line where it's safe at all times. I know turn 4 tries to throw you down and wants to put you onto the apron. You need to maintain your bicycle lane, and you need to stay above that black line all the way through the home stretch.
Okay, this is to position our quarterfinalists who did not make it into the semis. This is 5 through 8. The winner of this will get 5th position in our sprint composition, down to 8th place. Riders out there, Johnny Kufel, Howard Buckley, Stephen Hall and Frank Travieso on the front at the moment. All the riders looking a little bit similar, but it's Frank Travieso to Howard Buckley, Stephen Hall, Johnny Kufel sitting patiently, 4th wheel. A lot of glancing left, glancing right. No riders want to commit just to this. It's only 3 laps. They've halfway through now. They'll come round, they'll hear the bell. 3 riders almost side by side, riding this in formation, almost like the blue arrows would do at an air display. Steve Hall keeps that high as they come into the corner. Howard Buckley is putting the hammer down. Johnny Kufel is putting in the challenge down the back stretch. And it is Johnny leads corner 3. Has he got the speed to hold it as they come down the home stretch? Johnny picks up the 5th place there and leave the judges to take 6, 7 and 8. And riders, we need you off the track as quickly and safely as you can. Decelerate as quick as you can. A-Riders to the board. A-Riders, this is your final event of the evening. A-Riders to the board. Then we will have 2 sprint finals. A-Riders, 10 lap scratch. Okay, our A riders roll it out for their last event. And we're looking for these guys to close it together. 10 lap scratch is what we're looking for. And as long as these guys are together as they come out of corner 4, we'll wait for our starter to make a decision. And it's race on. It's Chad Connolly who we see first. Keith Mullally looking to lock into that. Steve Hall coming in third. Keith Mullally takes a flyer straight away here. Spinning it down the back stretch. Chad Connolly, Stephen Hall sitting in behind that. Jesse Koister, I want to say fourth wheel. I'll pick some other names and numbers up as we come back round, but it's still Keith Mullally riding Levine Law Cycling on the front. Stephen pulls it off. Jesse Koistra, also Levine Law, and John Everest to Chad Connolly rounds our first 4 riders out. Back to the home stretch. Keith Mullally, Chad Connolly, Trey Hedgecock, and then John Everest. John hanging around in that 4th position. He wants to be up there for the final sprint. Let's see how these riders tow it through. Only 10 laps, 2 miles. Keith eases up. The riders are looking round. Nat Worcester heads our train as they come across the line to see 7 to go. Nat eases off the front, hands over to Andrew Hodges. That's a gap. No one's looking for this. Luckily, Andrew didn't notice. Otherwise, it could have been a little kick and a sprint. No one down the bottom of the track. Andrew takes it high. Everyone takes it high. Great opportunity to slide underneath if you need to. Good bunch, good crowd. Chad Connolly taking the pace on now. Trey Hedgecock, second wheel, but not holding that wheel. Frank Travieso now in second wheel, and he's looking to close that down. He is not letting Chad Connolly walk away with the big money in this race. Chad, first rider across the line. We'll see. 5 to go. 1 mile complete, 1 mile to go. Frank on the front there. Stephen Hall on the front. John Everest, rider number 13. It is John Everest. I was going to say John Everest bringing it back, but it's not. Our rider towards the front is Valentine, and it's a little attack here. Trey Hedgecock with Keith Mullally behind him. Frank Travieso, third wheel. Changing numbers and changing positions at the front. Rapidly, Trey Hedgecock taking it down the back stretch. He doesn't want to take it any further. And it looked indecisive there whether Keith was going to take it on. But they've handed it over to Frank Travieso, who comes out the sprint area and comes midway up. Jesse Koistra comes through from nowhere. Stephen Hall latches on that wheel to see what he can do. Jesse putting the hammer down on the back stretch. Stephen Hall locked in with this. Where's the chase coming from this? Are these two going to be walking away with it? Stephen Hall now on the front with Jesse tail in. It's Keith putting the hammer down. Christian DeSenza, second wheel. Andrew Hodges, this is a good power line. 1, 2, 3, that'll be Trey Hedgecock to Valentine. Bell ringing. Now, we've got to throw the hammer down to close this one down. Jesse's still on the front here. Stephen Hall, sorry, behind him. Stephen puts the gas down. Stephen's opening a gap up here. Challenge, Chad Connolly with a big effort down this back stretch. Is Stephen going to hold it? Jesse going to hold it? Chad looking to absorb and swallow. He comes round Jesse. Andrew Hodges comes through. Trey Hedgecock comes through as well. Big power finish from these riders. Big finish from Nat here. Great ride, good decisive moves, lots of attacks. It's what track racing is all about. Okay, we go back to our sprints, the penultimate event of the evening. Looking for third and fourth position. Kevin O'Donnell and Daryl Christopher. Looking for you two riders. Kevin O'Donnell, Daryl Christopher, over to Mr. Scott Patton. Let's get this duel underway. A little hometown clash of the Titans here. Two riders, one holder. It is possible. Have we got another holder quickly? We have. Double barrel Daryl goes high. The Marietta Mennonite. Looks like he's going to be leading. One more event after this for first position and second. Kyle Knott, Nick Oosterreich will round out our evening's racing. But let's take our eyes to the track. Daryl, number 90. Lower on the track, just above the blue stay line. Leads it out. Kevin content to let him lead, sitting, watching. Keeping a close eye on what's going on. Kevin takes underneath him and puts Daryl back up by the rail. As quick as I could say, the pace starts to pick. Kevin cuts the pace right out. Bell ringing, these riders know there's one to go. Now the pace starts to pick. Still no kick from either rider, still no big attack. There it comes. Kevin puts the gun down. Daryl with the counter. It's a short, sharp blast, and Kevin wraps it up for third place. Rider number 1. Kevin O'Donnell takes our third position. Daryl slots himself into fourth position. And that leaves two riders to duke it out for first place. It's for first place here. And Nick wants to take the pace high. Kyle is still in the driving seat. Nick has got to attack again, but Kyle pushes relentlessly on. Kyle comes out of corner 4. Nick's still got a long way to get round him. Oh, and it's down to the wire. 92 is the call on the number. Mr. Kyle Knott takes the first position. Nick second. A great finish to the evening, and it'll round us out ready for tomorrow. 3 o'clock we start racing sharp for the Velodrome Cup. Anyone looking for payout this evening? Miss Kim is making her way down to the table. Please queue quietly.